Welcome back to Resistance of the Threshold, session 24, entitled The Importance of Family. Last session, the group defeated the Abbess, had a long conversation with her as well. Um, Shenanigans happened. There was stuff that happened. A lot of discussion of time loops and time travel and fuckery. And it seems to be the case that the Abbess is of the opinion that no matter what they do, that Marag, also known as Isilingdar, will come to life and cause a presumed destruction across the lands, as it did in ancient times during the Grey War, during the Third Age, wiping out many species in the region, namely giants, all of the titans, and so on. But that being said, I'm really not going to be doing much in regards of talking. I'm literally just going to be leaving it open to you, um, discussing amongst yourselves what the plan is, what you wish to do, what your goals are operationally. Where you left off is on the beach. You still have the Abbess with you. She has been relieved of her gag, so she's able to talk. But you also gave her the freedom to move a bit when you were walking her, if I remember correctly. Is that right? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then to you. Oh, and it's backwards. But I've had this cup for a while. I haven't used it in a while.
Okay. So
Cute.
we have basically the army is coming up the mountain.
Yes.
We don't have the book that they want.
There's a risk that they might discover the library.
Yeah. Well, and based on what the Alice said, they already basically know what's in the book or have access to similar knowledge.
So basically, they just wanted to keep the book from the
Is
Abbess.
it belonged to them. That was basically their argument. It belongs to us. We want it back.
Wow.
And that's part of the reason that they even came here in the first place.
That's also why she wanted you to stop them.
Yeah. Because she was all cracked out on, like...
Chronergy.
Yeah.
Chronergy, not even once.
So our options.
There's no stopping the army. That's for certain.
Yeah. What are you doing? Go lay down, please. Thank you.
That was Evangeline talking to Morax, right? Go lay down, bad boy.
I went and found some bugs.
What are you doing? Okay, so
I'm just a big lizard.
we could, I guess. So the beach.
Mhm.
Is it pretty much more like a cove, and there's really no way?
Well, up the way a bit, there is a bit more of a cove. But
Okay.
where you're currently at, it's kind of just a nice,
Like sheer cliffs and then a little dip.
well, it's like sheer cliffs that are probably a few hundred feet behind you. So you would have descended down there, and there's
So is there like a shoreline we could follow?
yeah, there's a few hundred feet of shoreline that can be kind of kept on.
So do we do we just want to go north and try and meet up with the rest of the town, or do we
Yeah,
want to
out of character, what was the name of that town that everybody went to, including like
Macard.
That's
Macard?
the one,
Bummer,
yeah,
whatever.
straight north from our place.
Macard? Yeah, maybe we should just
Yeah.
go there and then head north from there because we gotta get the hell out of Dodge, right?
But if a mountain comes to
I mean,
life,
they're everywhere. Like if you look at the map, and I know John was telling us, like they're up. There's
The-
shit going on up in the north.
The main place that they're not is the city of Penford, which is technically not aligned with Ulamar or Ulaman, the barony you technically come from. But again, it's probably the case that refugees from other places have arrived there.
like if we run, then to what avail? Like they're just gonna keep on going. These people aren't. I don't. These people don't strike me as the kind to. This is in character. These people don't strike me as the kind to say, "Oh, all right, we conquered this much. This is all we want. We're good. We're good.
Well,
We only want Poland."
We will split it with
What's
That's all.
Poland? I don't
It,
get that
it
reference.
was in a book I read.
oh, in
You
the
read
library.
books?
Yeah.
Okay,
I got a library card, didn't I?
Aw.
so the thing with that is they're just trying to reclaim what they think is theirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a limit to that. Like they're not conquering things that don't belong to them, even though that's kind of our perspective on it. Like it's more
what
I
remains to be
don't-
seen if they are conquering it or not. That is
I
Well,
don't
it definitely
wanna
seems like they've conquered,
be
Like-
especially from what Okran tells us.
well, yeah, I know. Like
Oh, matriarch, don't misunderstand. I am absolutely in agreement with you. There is something about the Dennis Sapman cause that's not quite so simple.
it's not
As-
black and white. They're not like they do bad things, but I don't feel that they're necessarily evil.
Well,
Or are
and
they out of character? Did I sense they were
they're
evil?
kind
at
of
some point?
evil. The Sanguine sisters are kind of evil.
Yeah, okay, them.
They're
Yeah.
kind of evil.
You mean
They're what?
You mean fucking metal?
Yeah,
They're
it's
red.
like, do they wear red clothes and make like
Oh.
red smoke appear?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Well, the other thing is, if we do stick around, to what purpose? Or
I mean, the
what's
only-
the strategy?
the only reason to stick around would be to try and recover Gateneath, or at the very least determine.
And become martyrs.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it's a good idea. Like that would literally be the only reason, would be return to Gateneath and
Matriarch,
determine the fate of whatever people will be left there. But
if you decide that we are to be martyrs
no,
for Gateneath, then I will follow you.
I mean we already tried that. It didn't stick. She kind of like looks over at the app. the Abbess.
She's like, oh no, yeah, no hard feelings.
I don't.
Well, Sheriff Morax, you mentioned, that cutting and running maybe wouldn't be the right option. What other option do we have?
I'm afraid I don't know. I just know that if we run away, then we're never going to stop running.
I do not agree with your analysis, Sheriff. I believe that we could run away if we needed to and get to a spot where they no longer had influence. And then you are right, we may have to run again. But, I do not know how far the Dennis Satvans are reaching.
GM, can I make a roll, like a history roll about like areas of the world or the continent that would be safe from the Dennis Satvans?
Well, Dennis Hopkins only have claimancy over the region that you're in, so not even all of your Naras. So,
Yeah.
Aha!
So I feel like if we can just get out of that area is what Evangeline is thinking. Is just like run just far enough and then regroup. We're like run, get our people, push them
But
out of the territory.
Morax does bring up a good point. Once they've reclaimed what's theirs, what do they do next? Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, we're also not. We can't like tell the future, right?
But there's an argument to be made that conquerors continue conquering.
True.
Could I roll like a
So let's just stop them right here with our army. Oh
Yeah.
wait, we don't have an army.
What were you gonna say?
how long would we know how long the Dennis Atvan conquest has been going on? Has it been
Yeah, about a decade.
Okay. All right.
That you raise an interesting question, Abatis. Do you know a way we can get an army to fight Dennis Tatvans? Do you have that capability?
She just kind of stares at him, like just confounded.
So does Evangeline. Just like she killed half of her army and we killed the rest of it. Like
There were some of them left up there.
She knows lots of magic. Maybe she knows how to do something that we do not.
Oh God, please no more chronergy.
yeah, let's not.
Then if that is the case, maybe we need to head north then and take our families and our loved ones and the rest of the people that came from Gatemead.
Oh shit. Did we leave Millie in the tower or did she go?
No,
Oh, okay.
she went with Summer.
Okay, okay.
She was very upset about it, but she went.
We did leave Espen though.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Did you send Michaela's brother, or did he
Mhm.
stay behind because he couldn't travel?
Oh wait, that's a good point. He stayed behind because he couldn't travel. Holy shit, Con! That's what I do. I thought he went. I thought he left, but now you mention it, I think he
I
did stay.
I can't remember, but
Let's
Yeah.
if we just start walking north, are we writing off all of the people that we left in Gateneath?
because they didn't sack the town.
Yeah,
like
maybe
they
they're
that
still
just
might
alive.
include.
Well, we don't know what they did or didn't do
We have
because
no idea what the interior of Gateneath looks like and whether they left any survivors or if they slaughtered the whole town.
I mean,
Or if
based
people
off
escaped.
of,
We
And
have
we
no
know-
idea right now until we go back to town.
we
and
know
check.
from Oakland that they are definitely like to slaughter.
slaughtery.
They're
yeah,
slaughtering.
well they slaughter if there's resistance.
Well, we did leave. The only people we left behind in Gateneath were
Guards and people that
guard
couldn't travel.
fighters.
But what were the
Oh,
orders
and
that we
us-
gave them? Like, did we give them
typically-
to fight to the death?
You
I
thought
don't
you'd
think
be back.
Evangeline would have.
You thought
The
you
mayor
would
did.
attack before they would.
Yeah.
So they didn't really have
Yeah.
orders.
Yeah.
Okay, so they just kind of did whatever.
Who knows?
Well,
what
I
they
We
did.
don't know what they did.
I
Oh,
will
God.
volunteer.
We aren't
to-
those characters.
Hey, Abest, do you
We have no idea
Do you
what
know
we
what
left
they
in
did?
that town.
Abest, are you
Right.
like
Hey, Eva!
shoot magic and like talk to
Abest.
people?
I've been wanting to do that this entire time.
She's still kind of dumbfoundedly looking at Mikhail and kind of turns to look at Morax, like kind of giving you the impression like, if I had that power, like, do you think there would be anything left? Like, you just fought her to the death. Like, what? No, she has no ability to help here, folks. So, yeah, I'll just.
Well, I mean,
She does not have that ability currently.
Okay.
Abadis, do you know who is alive in the
Ooh.
town?
Do we just have a long rest?
I don't think so.
No, I think we did a short rest.
Yeah, we did a short rest.
Okay, so I mean, I could do ascending after a long rest. I also have 12 max hit points.
I have 7 hit points, but hit points do not matter. They are an abstract for damage in your condition. But what I would say is, how about I go do reconnaissance and I go to Gateneath by myself? I could be very stealthy and secretive and see who is alive and who is not.
And if you get captured, we will never know.
That is probably
I
true.
think
If I get captured,
I
I
think-
am a goner, probably. But I have to go back to see my brother.
And Espen. We have to go back for Espen.
And Espen, and any other
Their
guards or
guards.
anybody who survived.
and my,
Somebody should
Espen
go
two,
back.
my two rat
May
boys,
have
maybe.
gotten themselves out. They're quite creative.
So, anyways, that is what I would that is what I will do. If you are okay with this, Matriarch.
Mm. She would look over at Morax just to kind of check like the tactical viability of that plan because she's not super comfortable. Like they're already a small party against an army, and then just to send.
So sending just Mikhail into town to scout the situation.
Yeah.
You should always split the party. That is what I say.
I mean, he's a priest. You can
I
tell.
have another option, and Casey pulls
I'm a rogue. I'm a rogue.
familiar out of a pocket dimension and offers Owl to scout.
Oh yeah. I think that would probably be better. Sorry.
Let me
And
know if Wingus
I
and
can,
Dingus made it.
also cast Pass Without a Trace and travel with Mikhail to make us both quieter and safer.
Ooh.
Is the owl a familiar?
Yeah, I find familiar.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to get much information from it because it's second it leaves 100 feet, you stop seeing through it.
But it can go and check back
It
in.
doesn't talk to you.
Oh, I guess I don't have any way to communicate with it.
Yeah.
It's,
But
But you can see through its
Charades.
eyes, right?
Yeah,
Charades.
Only from
Those
100
eyes,
feet.
100
Yeah, but you're
Charades.
going with
Okay, so we can
with
use a
Mikhail.
combination. We could send both of you with. You could do the pass without a trace, and then get close enough
Yeah.
to the town to do what you need to do. And since Mikhail, did you move your brother into the town? I think,
Yes,
or did
I
you keep him at your house?
No, he was in town.
Okay. Do you think we could get into any of those entrances to the tunnels that we closed
Possibly.
off? Because that would be kind of a
if the
Away.
Dennis Atkins got in through one of those closed off tunnels, yes.
Yes.
But if they're still closed off, likely not without taking too much time.
okay. Okay. man, I'm so sorry. I'm just exhausted.
Maybe we should take a long rest
Yeah,
because yeah, man.
I feel like that would be a good idea.
Can I make a request?
Yeah,
If we do a long rest, can we get this curse off me?
yeah.
Sweet.
Well, I thought I already got it off you because we took
Wait,
a
you-
short rest and or is it a long rest for me to do a
Long
new
rest.
spell?
Give you a long rest.
Long rest, yeah.
Okay, yeah, long rest because I am learning the remove curse thingy or train, whatever the fuck I do. Preparing.
So you're taking a long rest, okay?
We are.
I don't know.
I guess we are.
Just
I
talk
guess,
about-
I don't know. Casey is really not thrilled with spending another 8 hours waiting to get back to the town because we also have another travel of a half a day to like get there. Like, so that's, and we've already taken one long rest while we've been here, and like, I don't know. Casey is concerned with the amount of in-game time that's actually spending like long rest. But
Yeah.
if everyone really needs it, like.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, I
would
got-
would he say
but-
that in character?
Yes, in character, Casey is concerned that we've already spent at least like 36 to 48 hours away from the town. Like, we've actually been gone for 2 days.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, I know it's been 6 like game sessions, but we've been gone 2 full days from the town because of the long rest and the travel time.
Yeah.
So if we take
So-
another long rest, we're coming back on like the 3rd day since we left. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I guess what Dahabe would say is that, you know, we're flesh and flesh fatigues, and many of us are cursed.
I'm
So if
exhausted.
we don't rest and we encounter danger
Mm.
on our journey back,
we will
we're
die.
dead. So,
Mhm.
I mean, we could get back sooner, but the risk that one of us will die is much higher. So, I think it really has to be up to the matriarch to decide whether or not she's willing to risk our lives.
I know I personally am not in a position to be even remotely helpful in combat at the moment. I am just exhausted. Which out of character translates, I literally have one level 1 spell slot.
Yeah, not good.
So I feel I want to get back to the town as well. I want to make sure, like, I want to know what's happening down there, but there's a high chance that we will run into trouble. We'll have a better chance of getting out of it if we are prepared.
Yeah,
Sure.
I fell down a mountain and like I have 7 freaking hit points out of a total
Well,
46.
you know, it's
so-
hard for the mayor.
Yeah, so he
because
still
they're-
looks like
they're a
I'm so
robot.
sad.
Shit.
Said
So-
my piece.
No,
I am
yeah.
not the matriarch.
Hmm.
I don't get to make the final decision.
We need to rest.
I agree.
So while we're resting, a nuclear bomb hits the town.
Are
And,
you taking
Sorry.
Are you taking watches during your rest?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do we have to? Casey can stay
Okay, then if you're the one that's active,
alert, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I remain conscious, but am inert.
Okay. So then, during the rest, as everyone else is kind of unconscious or not really attentive, you would notice that the elf, the abbess, is also not sleeping. She doesn't really entertain any conversation after a fashion, just kind of keeps to herself. But at a point in the middle of the night, when the moon is at its highest, reflecting neatly on the waves and the ocean, you would see, just seemingly out of nowhere, a silhouette of a figure out on the beach, just standing there, seemingly just kind of waiting. The abbess looks over to you, Casey, and says, "Well, Looks like my time has come. I really must be going. Are you going?
May I ask who that is?
You saw him. I don't think the others saw much of him. But what I have wronged, he is probably setting to right. Because of my efforts to make that wrong, I'm assuming I am to be punished for that transgression.
Would he listen to another advocate's statement? I'd be happy to speak on your behalf.
You can try.
I would like to.
She stands up.
Casey stands with her.
Seems to kind of just drop her bonds. Like, she did still have, like, bonds on her hands, but she just drops them like as if they weren't ever a problem. And she just starts walking towards the individual on the beach. As you approach, he turns. Bright white hair, elvish features, gloves on his hands, elvish, ears, and the moonlight seems to be kind of just glowing about him. He looks to you, kind of with a bit of an annoyance on his face, and then looks to her. Glad we didn't have to have any discussions regarding with me. She says, "No, I understand. I don't know exactly who you are, but I know who you represent." "What of this one?" he says, gesturing to you. "He wishes to advocate for me." The elf kind of looks to you, kind of just passively, and that seeming kind of face of annoyance just stays. "Speak your piece."
I can only speak to what I know. But this abbess seems to have found herself in an impossible situation. And through her recurring trials, through this, what did you call it? Time loop, I suppose?
Mm.
This outcome was not necessarily the best, but it was one of many. And I don't think that an individual can be faulted for trying, even if that attempt resulted in others' pain. It's a circumstance I don't know if I would have acted any differently on the 100 millionth attempt.
Kind of raises his hand up to you. "You did not tell them why you were caught up in it. Interesting. And you also did not seem to realize that the reason you are no longer in it is not because of your own choices." She kind of looks at him puzzled. "What do you mean?" "The Grey Order has known about this wound in time for some time. We've been working at closing it. The efforts we made assured that those would not continue, that this would end. I don't understand how that could come to be. This one has been there every time. Every single time." The elf looks over to you. "Tell me, KZSO, what is the name of your master?" Roleplay it. If you don't have it notes, then roleplay it as Casey would.
It's been so long.
You would agree. A dereliction from the norm. "Yes, quite strange," she says, looking down at Casey. "Every single one of them has been changed minutely. to allow for a difference of occurrence. Not by you, by us. Isselingder will not rise. They do not have the means to do it. What you wish to be done is done. It does not change the fact that your attempt to stop it was a crime-ridden affair. And I appreciate your graciousness in trying to protect KCSO. But our decision was made long before.
Casey, almost in their way, smiles back at him. It seems you, know more about me than I do.
That can't be true. Because you are you, and I am me.
But I forget so much of me these days.
It's not about knowing. It's about being. Come. We must be on our way. He raises his hand out to her, gloved in white, kind of gesturing off to her.
It was a pleasure meeting you. I don't believe I caught your name.
Thorn. Thorn
Thorn.
Stashianadal.
Casey bows to them.
He nods in kind. Once she places her hand in his other hand reaches over to his sleeve, and you see that there's a gray band on it. He pulls it, and when he does, both of them vanish instantaneously.
Casey just returns to his sentry rest.
Night goes by uneventfully besides that. The moon the whole time just looming over you, staring down on you, almost giving you this kind of watchful warmth that perhaps Law wasn't really kind of engaged in here today, or throughout this entire process. Perhaps Law was disrupted quite greatly, but ultimately good was served. And those of you who were asleep awaken. 8 hours later, probably early in the morning time. It's not quite sunup yet.
What happened to the abattis? That doesn't sound Russian at all. Sorry.
You tried, it's okay.
Casey, did she manage to escape?
No, she was taken by a member of the Grey Order.
Why didn't you wake us up?
It didn't seem prudent. We would not have been able to do anything to stop him. And it didn't seem like we would have, even if I had woken you.
Well, I cannot argue about that.
They look to the matriarch. I apologize if that was an overstep.
No, you're fine.
So, out of character, would you tell us kind of what they said or not? Are you the only one who's gonna know? Because
Not unless someone gets more specific with their questions, no. That's how they would leave it, is that she left with a member of the Grey Order.
So our characters are still gonna think that the mountain is gonna be coming to life, but the person from the Grey Order said it wasn't. Stations. So that's interesting. Like,
It'll
that's
be fine. It can be a story we tell our grandchildren. The mountain is coming back.
They'll be like, "Yeah, you're full of crap."
We're like, oh, there goes grandma again.
The Grey Order's gotten involved? That's massive. What else did they say to you, Mayor?
It would appear as though their involvement has been since the beginning. They've known about this this reoccurring event for some time. And their interventions are the reason why the mountain will not rise. And why the loop was broken.
I mean, if anybody is standing close to Dahabe, you can see her skin has kind of like broken out and, you know, like goosebumps. Oh, we've been puppets in some Celestial game all along.
I don't know about puppets. More like pawns. We are smaller pieces of a bigger puzzle, sure, but
So the Grey Order fella said that the mountain won't. That they're making sure the mountain doesn't come to life.
they have already ensured. It was stated with the past tense. They gesture towards the mountain, so we have nothing to worry about from this. However, we do still have the Denisovans to concern ourselves with. It seems
Right.
they did need the book in order to rise the mountain, and they'll be very upset that that's not an option anymore. They smile.
Yes.
Yes, I see.
That's one thing we don't have to worry about.
That is good.
Guess it seems we should. Are we going to go back to the city, or are we going to?
But it seems.
I do believe it's time to return to Gate Neath, no?
Yes, I agree. It seems the matriarch was right. She said that this was not black and white. It appears it was gray.
Yeah.
Man, if you
Put 'em-
only knew.
That was for summer. That was for summer. I have to do this in her place since she is not here.
Yeah. You're getting OMGs from the audience, so if that helps you understand how well you're doing.
Yes, it is awesome.
Uh,
Good job, Andy.
what was the one before?
It was a crisis.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
talking about Chris's, and Chris
Oh.
said it's a real crisis because there's like multiple Chris's doing things.
There's all the Hollywood Chris's.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Regarding
They're all dropping movies right
Dungeons
now.
and
Right.
Dragons, and then
Right,
Mario.
right.
Yeah.
It all comes back.
So I gave him inspiration for that. I will also give Kevin inspiration for
Yes,
His
my whole life. That's
shenanigans.
all I ever wanted.
here at
This
the
is
end.
all I ever wanted.
You'll need it for the stealth checks you're about to foolishly make.
Yes, I'm gonna be sneaking in. All right, let's go for it.
So-
guys.
All right, shall
Yeah.
we head on out to this over to the city?
Yeah.
The town.
I have
Yeah.
because I'm Generan, I have a cantrip, so I press the digitation. So I'm gonna press to digitate everybody all close, so we all look, all cool, just in case. Unless you want to remain dirty, then I'll leave it that. Whatever you guys want. Just trying to use my abilities. It's getting toward the
Yeah.
game.
Thank
I'll roll in the
you.
mud again.
Thank you, Mikhail, but I can press to digitate myself just fine.
Okay. Some people like other people to do it.
She is
then
a
it seems
strong, independent woman.
much more. Anyways, you should do it if you can do it. I agree.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So we will do that.
Okay.
Now we're gonna sneak back into town, right, guys? Or are we just gonna
Uh,
walk in? I'm thinking sneaking in sounds good.
I think I'm just going to do this mostly theater of the mind. I will put out a map for reference, but I am mostly going to kind of keep it theater because I haven't burned the place at all. I unfortunately have 2 stages of the town. Well, 3 actually. Well, 6 if you count the number of drawbridges. The drawbridge dropping, which I haven't forgotten. But there's day, there's night, and there's on fire.
Oh,
These are the only 3 I have. But focusing up, how are you wanting to approach? Are you wishing to maneuver back along the path, which led you to like around the mountain, off the beach, the same way you came to be at the mountain in the first place, or are you gonna try and like aggress a different direction?
I mean, I'm thinking it might be good just to go back the way we came, but that might be obvious. But I don't know if anybody's really keeping track of what we're doing that close.
Dahabe would trust Mikhail's strategy
Strategery. So yeah, we'll try
as
to.
a
Let's,
Russian spy.
Yes.
Yes.
Old Janarin and an old Janarin. Yes. So, yeah, we'll sneak. But we'll go the same path we came by. If that sounds good to everybody.
Okay. And then in essence, the only two people who are actually going to be maneuvering in the two sneaky types, was it Casey and Mikhail, or is anyone else sneaking in as well?
I mean, we might have other sneaky people. What about
Okrin?
Okrin? Are you pretty sneaky, Okrin? You can climb real good too. Okrin is not talking.
I think you said BRB.
John's making pudding.
Oh, John is always making pudding.
See
All
the,
right.
See the GIF he posted in video games?
No, I did not.
That's him making pudding.
Okay. Video games general.
I had so
how you
much
make
trouble
some
finding
pudding?
my Zoom window. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh, that dog is so dirty. Oh my gosh.
Too many windows.
That was
open.
me after you cleaned me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can climb up walls.
Are
That's
you
about
stealthing?
as good.
You're pretty
no.
stealthy, right? No, you're not.
No,
The
I'm bright white.
barbarian.
I'm literally bright white.
Well, maybe we should have left you dirty then, and then you'll blend in with the
Well,
with the mud. I don't. No,
I was trying to do that.
Yeah. Well, we can make this work. I think. Right, Casey, you and I could sneak up.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to climb over a wall, though, right? Isn't that what we're gonna have to do?
Where are we coming from?
South side.
Outside.
South side. Okay.
Oh, south side.
Oh, down there. So if we get to here, I can help people get up.
There's a
Maybe-
gate right there.
Where?
We'd probably
Behind
have
me.
better success like sneaking in behind one of these buildings
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think so.
and going straight up the wall that way.
I agree. Maybe we could have. Maybe it could be me, you, and Okrin could climb up and drop a rope for us, and we could climb up. It makes it easier for us. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm okay with it. And then Okrin doesn't have to go any further into town. We can just sneak from there.
Right. Like maybe Okrin could even like hide on up in the battlements, or either hide on the other side of the wall or something.
Well, and I
I could
can send
literally
the
just stay on the
owl
wall.
to make sure the
Yeah.
the wall is clear before Okrin flies up or
Mhm.
runs up it. You know.
Yeah, that sounds good.
To kind of
That'd work.
maintain some safety, the Dahabe would make herself and the matriarch invisible, and we would follow behind.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
do we cure the cures?
You say that you two.
Yeah, I would have done that.
Did you say that Dahabe and Evangeline are also approaching the city?
Invisibly?
Okay.
So what are we gonna do with our sheriff then? He's gonna be all by himself.
I'm gonna be honest, I
By
am not the
himself.
stealthiest.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I have this big heavy armor on.
No, I know. I'm just
Just take it off.
just take it off.
I'll be naked.
Doesn't have anything
That's
underneath.
the way
that,
it's
do
gotta
you?
be.
Dragonborn.
Right.
Dragon body.
You're saying Dragonborn.
Well, you know
can't
how
be
things
ashamed
go,
of
you
their
know.
Naked bodies. Is that what you're saying? Just
Well,
because
they've got
have
scales.
and you're used
Said
to
they
keeping,
shouldn't
you're used to
be.
keeping reptiles naked in like slavery inside of cages or aquariums. You
Yes.
horrible person.
You're wearing clothes too.
Yeah,
Right.
you don't need to wear clothes. You're
Magpie is like unashamed of the anti-dragonborn reptilian bigotry.
Oh man.
was Okran
Well-
going in?
He's just gonna climb up to drop a rope for us. Maybe we
Yeah, I
should.
was gonna help
Maybe we
was gonna-
all. Well, listen. Let me like throw something out
at
there.
least to hear or something.
What if Casey cast what is that name of that thing you cast? That's great. Pass without trace,
Pass
and like
without
on our entire party, so we get all these bonuses. Then we all
Yeah.
sneak up.
It's
out-
we'd
AOE.
have to-
Pass without trace is an AOE. It's a
Yeah.
yeah.
Here, you can read.
So like
We would
We
have
all-
to stay within a certain range
Yeah.
of each other.
It's like 30 feet, isn't it?
It's 30 feet of me.
Yeah.
and then
that's-
everybody goes like to this house right here or over here, and everybody hides in there except for Okran climbs up, drops a rope down, Casey and I and we'll have that pass without trace on us still, but you guys will just hide there because it's not very like stealthy for you guys to climb over the walls and enter the town.
I agree. But
That
that
sounds
way
like a good idea. Then we're all together pretty much. Then just Casey and I go off and get killed. I mean, we get real sneaky and find out all sorts of great intel.
Okay.
that way we could potentially get
Yeah.
in to help you out if necessary.
Right. If necessary, you could just come in and help us. See, I love that idea. Then we're all together too. Nobody has
So-
to be by themselves.
You rest, you move, you make your way to the south side of town, and you would see that the tents of
The Misapton?
Abbess, are still present, but it looks like they've been ransacked. You would see that the farm, or the vineyard outside of Vine Manor, looks like it's still intact, as is Vine Manor. You can see that Green Bottle House is still fine, as is Riker's farm and the other farm across the way from it. Looks like everything is just doing fine from your vantage point here. But as you were making your way down, you would have seen that the prime source of damage appears to be the western wall, which, as you'll note, had all of these tokens on it at one time. Those have since been obviously removed. And it doesn't look like there's really much in the way of activity of a kind of military kind of aspect in the town proper. Doesn't look like there's a lot of people here at all from a distance.
Is there any sign of like dragon damage? Because there was that dragon that was protecting its horde, but we don't know if it would have actually fought or not.
It does not look like there are any signs of dragon damage.
No dragon. What's your damage, dragon? Right. So, all right, let's head in there. What do you
Do
guys think?
silver dragons breathe fire?
They breathe cold air.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
cold air. Silver's cold. Okay, I didn't look it up. I was thinking they did fire, but that's brass, I guess. That's fire, right? And gold. I don't know.
Brass is lightning, isn't it?
Is it? Okay, I don't know.
I'm not getting into
Maybe it's
specifics of dragon
Bronze.
breath.
Yeah, anyways, doesn't matter.
I have
Uh,
a cousin who's brass.
I know,
Ah,
but I don't.
you're
I
not
don't
going
see
to
where
tell
this.
us.
I don't see why this matters.
Yeah, this isn't getting us anywhere. All right, so if we can make it to the outside of the wall, like with safely,
Yeah, it would
And then we
seem
get-
so.
then we climb up and see what we see.
Okay, so how are you climbing up? Are you climbing up at Green Bottle House? Are you going to go up Riker's farm, or what are you doing?
We were going to go up at this is Riker's farm, right?
Yeah.
That looks good to me. And we were going to send Okranep, who's
Okay.
our climbing expert.
As you make your way over to it to start climbing it, you would see that there is a orc or half orc kind of standing in the farm. Looks like he's going through the process of extracting cabbage heads. Those of you who are locals in the town would recognize this individual as Rykar.
Oh,
God, maybe we should talk to Rykar. What do you think? Our entire group's together right now, so
He doesn't seem to notice you because you're being really stealthy and you're passing without traces, but he's just engaging in his work as if nothing changed.
at least they have not done any hurt to Rykar that we can tell. Maybe we should just leave him alone and climb up and see what we can see, or we could talk to him. That's our options. What do you think?
he's one of the. Is he just a farmer, or like was he also like a guard?
Rykar Hughes was the character that was made up by Chad, another member of the Tuesday
Oh.
conglomerate, and was the NPC that he specifically created for the town of Payne.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we could talk to him,
Okay.
but like maybe we go between the wall and his farm, like the house, and just kind of like throw pebbles until we get his attention.
Yeah. Rykar, psst. Over here.
He kind of turns and looks over at you. Oh, Master Vine. What are you doing there? Why are you hiding?
Come here and talk with us,
Okay.
please. So
He
then
walks
if
over.
I'd say, we do not want to make. Oh wait. We do not want to make a big scene, but we are trying to find out what happened. We saw the town burning in the distance when we were off.
Well, I can tell you what I know. I've kept to myself and tried my best to maintain my farm ever since all of this goings on. And every so often, I'd get a door from looks over at Morax, who is there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
And
still
I-
outside.
Gestures over to him. Your militia, and they would keep asking me to help, and I told them no and turned them away each time. Then members of the Rising Suns kept showing up and doing the same, and threatened to kill Taya if I didn't help. So I put a couple of them into the canal over there to keep myself safe. They stopped sending people the other night. Last night, everything kind of burned. And then at early dawn, I had a knock on my door. I approached with my weapon in hand, and one of the members of the invading force asked me if it was my goal to try and cause them any issue. I said I have no quarrel with anyone, and they left. And I started working, and no one's approached me except for you now. So, what do you wish? Are you going to try and convince me to fight a war that I don't want to?
No.
No, absolutely not. Oh, sorry, matriarch. I sorry I answered for you, but I knew that was what your answer would be.
Okay, well then, what are you doing here, and what do you want?
We are trying to see what we are trying to find out what happened to everybody in the city and in the town, I should say, and we're just checking up. We thought there'd be an army here right now occupying it, but I do not see any signs of that.
Well, they're there, but I don't particularly concern myself with what's going on inside the walls. But I'm sorry about those Rising Sun blokes. They had guard badges as if they were part of some membership of your group, but I dealt with them as I felt it was necessary.
Does anybody have anything to say about that? My thought would be out of character. Is like, yeah, we just kind of conscripted them to help with a war, and now who knows what the heck they were going to do. They're kind of criminals. So
I think in
Yeah.
character, Evangeline would just be like, you did what you thought you had to do. I can't blame you for that.
Well,
Out of character, she's just like,
yeah, yeah. Well, you didn't tell them to do anything like that, so they were kind of acting on their own.
I don't know much about these Denisotmans, nor do I wish to care. I do know that the old forces of Anundia stood against them at one point, but I'm not too very fond of Anundia either. So, if they
Whoa.
come to me seeking some sort of compensation or some sort of form of tribute that I'm not willing to grant, then I will probably kill the messengers and leave this place. But at current, it seems that the arrangement that we were able to form in the past, and now so much these folk are implementing, I'm fine with, because it's not harming me or Taya.
Was the town that he mentioned that town down south where
Anundia is
Okran?
the western side of the map.
Okay, I thought maybe it was the southern part from us where Okran came from, and it was
No.
like his town. But I'm glad that wasn't it, because that was pretty bad. If he's like, I don't care what happened there. All right, well, I would say you are pretty lucky, because it could have gone very poorly for you. Soldiers often raid farms and steal food when they are hungry. So, but we are going to find out what is going on and try to establish
Best
You
of
know.
luck to you.
everything here. So yes, thank you for the intel. Did you know if anything happened to my brother?
I figured he was still at your house, and he gestures across the way.
No, he wasn't. I didn't leave him at the house. I left him inside. In
He
the
would have
yeah.
no reason to know that. So he
Yeah,
has no
he
idea.
wouldn't know that. Right. He wouldn't know that. All right. So, any news of what happened inside to the?
I haven't been in the town for the last day, so I wouldn't know what's going on.
All right, thank you. You've been very helpful.
Yeah, no problem. He gets back down on his knees and gets to
Yeah.
work on cabbaging.
Very lucky. It's lucky the Dennis Atkins didn't steal everything in his farm.
Surprisingly reasonable. It's like, oh, you gonna mess with us? No, I just wanna grow my cabbages. Okay.
I
We don't-
figured it would be something similar to that,
We
just
don't-
based on
They
what
don't-
that knight told us.
They don't want to do it. They don't want to. They don't want to farm.
That's fair.
All right, so we're gonna head in, right, Casey?
Yeah.
Casey and I are gonna head. Okran's gonna climb up, drop a rope. We're gonna climb up the rope and then do some.
He will inquire about what you're doing when you eventually explain it to him. He says it's
Yeah.
fine, and then you hop up onto the wall here,
Right.
and then you're making your way in.
We're making our way downtown.
Are you going in around the
Like
Temple
boys.
of Life, or are you trying to go up the tower or up the temple and across it? Probably wiser to go around it.
I
drop
think
down.
we're going around. Yeah, that
Do,
seems better.
do you want
to
to
me.
go inside
Casey?
and check to see if anybody's in there?
The temple?
Yeah, you can go in. There's a door on the backside.
I don't know. I think that wouldn't be my main plan. Would be kind of get an idea of like if there's any soldiers moving around the town first. Kind of see what we could see. Move around a little bit and see what we could see. If there's soldiers, like, are they patrolling the walls? Are they in the
Okay.
towers? Or are they in the main palace?
Yeah, now that
area?
we're up on the wall, can Casey throw the owl up in the air and see
Sure.
what they see?
So the main thing that you're kind of looking at, what would be the main building you're kind of focusing on, or main area?
I would probably start with a focus on the town square here,
It's
and then
filled
moving
with
over this way.
bodies, like not like stacked or piled up, just like several dead kind of laying out on the stone. And from what you can tell, it looks like mostly Town Watch and Rising Sun bandits. You would also notice that the gallows appear to be full. There are 3 of them, 3 dead bodies. One of them is a very long, alien-looking figure with kind of just strange, dark, solid eyes. Another is a woman who you don't recognize in Rising Sun garb. And the last of these is a stranger who seems to be just wearing kind of almost knight-errant style attire. But not one that you'd recognize.
Mhm.
So it seems to me maybe they left the town in charge of somebody who gives tribute to the Dennis Atkins or something. Do you think that's what that could be?
No, I think they saved the hanging for those that surrendered, and they
Ah.
threw the bodies in the street of those that they killed in combat.
Aha. Oh, how many people were hanging? Are the
3.
bodies still
3.
hanging? 3? Oh, okay. Those are the 3. Yeah. So okay. All right. I misunderstood that last part. All right. That makes sense. Do I see my brother in any of those bodies?
No.
All right. I'm asking. That's what I'm looking for. Besides, I'm just trying to tell
Would they
what's going
hang
on.
an invalid?
Hey, soldiers will do all sorts of crazy stuff.
Not wrong though.
Yeah, they'll do whatever because they
Fair.
have control over everybody when they take a city over. They do all sorts of crazy stuff. So, anyways, all right. What would you guys like to do? What would you like to do, Casey?
If you make your way across the wall, you can actually go all the way around to the
To the palace?
well, not the palace, to
The Vine Grand Hall.
Yeah. The
Yeah, I
Grand Hall
mean-
of Revelry.
We can do that.
Mikhail would want to do that, but also he almost would rather, like maybe he should check for the matriarch on the palace first.
Why? Nobody was left there.
All right,
We
cool.
didn't leave anyone. The only people that we definitively know about are the Watch, which looks like they're scattered
Yeah.
across the ground, and your brother and Espen.
And Millie.
Maybe some people in the temple. Millie, yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Uh,
All right.
Those would
Says
be
there.
the three main locations. We could check the guard barracks if you wanted, but everyone else is either out in the fields outside the gates or left for the other city in the north.
True. All right, let's check the then the.
So if
make
you
your
want to
way
start with
Grand
the
Hall.
Grand Hall, we'll start
along
with the
the
Grand
wall.
Hall.
You drop down here at this point,
Right.
and land kind of near these buildings and kind of make your way around the outside of the Grand Hall of Revelry. You would see that there are a couple of town guardsmen along the wall that you're kind of moving along that look like they have been defeated. There are also large spikes kind of north of the Grand Hall of Revelry and on the walls kind of behind it that do have a couple of Blusa kind of stabbed through with their riders kind of impaled on the spikes as well. So as you make your way up the steps and enter inside, you would see that there looks like there's not much of a sign of life or conflict. And as you kind of make your way back towards the office space that was converted into a bedroom, you see at the door, kind of hanging from the wooden door, is the body of the nurse that was kept to guard and defend your brother. It looks like she's been impaled with a cross spear, one of the cross spears of the Blusa Riders, and left to hang dead on the door.
Okay, that would really probably like shake me up. I'd probably start to tear up and then run to the body and pull it off the door, and
Yeah, as you come into that room and do that, you do, out of the corner of your eye, catch the bed, and I need you to go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
no. Okay, is this like save versus death?
No,
Wisdom
save
saving
versus
throw?
madness is just a feature I typically employ when
Oh,
it comes
shit.
to like really graphic things that happen in your life.
For people at home, I got a 10 and a 4. But
Yeah.
the 4 doesn't count. But
10 will
is not
fail.
so
So
good.
when you turn and look towards the bed, you see your brother. It looks like he has died. Looks like he choked on his own vomit. And just kind of laying there in his bed. There's the reek of blood kind of seeping from his orifices and also of other materia that's kind of leaked out and ecked out of him over the course of a long night, where she probably died during the fighting as she tried to defend him.
And he was left all night.
Without any
Yeah.
assistance.
I'm not sure if I would like break down like a big lump
Well, I
of nothing, or if I would turn crazy and just like run out to kill somebody.
Well, I
could
can
find,
tell you what that wisdom saving throw kind of
Yeah.
in indentures. So what I need to ask you is a simple question. It's a two-part question. You're going to answer one or the other. Fight or flight?
I would say generally.
What
it
would
would
Mikhail
be-
do? Fight or flight?
It would probably be flight normally to save his skin, but in this case, since it's like
Well, just
his
like
brother,
in his heart, like normal.
So,
I'm
yeah,
not asking
he would
regarding this
probab-
situation. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about for Mikhail. What would his normal like course of action be?
The guy who ran away from home as a kid.
yeah, he would probably. I even have on my character sheet that his normal thing that he does when he gets unmasked is to like
Perfect.
flee kind of.
Yeah, so then
So
this
that's
is
what he
this
would
is
do.
perfect. At this point, what I will state is anytime you see a Dennis Odvin and are engaged with them in conflict, you are frightened of the Dennis Odvin and all Dennis Odvins. Period. End of sentence.
God,
That's just a madness trait you get to have for the rest of the game.
that's great, awesome, and make it worse what they did. Cannot believe it. That's horrible. That's horrible. All right, so like, do I run out of there then? Kind of like
you roleplay
ditch
yourself as you
Casey.
like.
All right, figure out. I'd probably run out of that and like head back to get like maybe off somewhere where I could be alone
Okay.
in the city, which is stupid, but
You come out
like-
onto the steps and kind
You're
of
not faster than Casey. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to work
Oh.
to lose Casey.
all right. Well, I
come-
start to run then.
You come out onto the steps. Casey's right behind you, and you kind of get a breath of fresh air. Kind of shocks you, kind of awake, and you realize that you are in a city that has a lot of potential. Excuse me, Dennis Otvin. So you're probably
Right.
not going to be too keen on running into the city.
Right, probably not too far. And then I'd be like, Casey, what have I done? Like, all I ever wanted to do was make up for what I did to my family, and now look at what has happened. And I would kind of like fall down to my knees and just kind of like crunch up and sob, probably.
Casey will grab Mikhail by the shoulders and try and like lift him back up and like, I understand, but here and now is not the time. Let's get you back to the others and I'll keep looking. And we'll try to like actively like slide underneath the shoulder so he can just like guide Mikhail using the pass without a trace back to the spot, the rope by Riker's farm.
You want to swap me out for Okran or something? Who's
I'm
actually
honestly, Casey is gonna
Yeah.
lead you to the ladder and finish this by themselves because you're a
liability.
hindrance. Yeah, like
Right.
a liability is the word I was looking for right
Yeah.
now. You're like, we did your thing. We checked your
So-
family. I still gotta look for the others. Like,
Dahabe,
Right.
Evangeline, Okran, and Morax, the two come back along the wall. It looks like Casey is supporting a bit of Mikhail. And when they come down onto Riker's house and drop down, you can see that Mikhail's kind of like out of it. And Casey looks like they are prepared to just go right back up and climb onto the wall and go back into this town.
Dahabe, you said you had invisibility? Yeah. Cast it on me as an extra cover. I'll be fine with the pass without a trace. They won't see me.
Okay. You've got an hour.
Thank you. I'll move quick. And as they turn invisible, I imagine they like wink at you guys and then like scurry back up the the rope.
Or
Just
yeah,
like I'll be quick. This time, now that I'm invisible, I am gonna try and sneak in the back door of the Temple of Life with invisibility and pass without trace and a +9 stealth. I think I'm hoping I can get in there without too much attention being drawn.
Absolutely. So when you get inside, what you'll note is that there seems to be this kind of just quiet stillness.
Hmm.
It's
Too quiet.
a bit unnerving.
Hmm.
As you kind of start looking around inside the Temple of Alawain, you realize that there's nobody here. It's completely empty. Or so you think. You can go ahead and make a perception check or an investigation check. If you're actively seeking, that's fine. I'm going to be moving you to a map here in just a second. Alright. What did you get on your perception?
13. Sorry.
It just seems to be completely quiet still. Nothing's here. And as you kind of look around, you see that there are no gnomes. The first time you've ever seen this temple without at least one gnome or 100 gnomes in it. So, yeah. The door you opened to get in and kind of move through was silenced by your pass without a trace aura, but you were able to kind of get in without too much issue. But yeah, looking around, it doesn't seem like there's anybody here.
I don't love that. Casey, I guess, is gonna like move down the stairs
Okay.
to check the other level to see if they notice
be able to
anything
move.
down there. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So on this side of it, you would note that there's a boat, the boat that heads down the canal. There's the pass on the other side. There are the doors that lead into the wall proper, and there's the door that leads outside onto the side steps. But you're not seeing anybody. It doesn't look like there's anything. What you do notice is that the cupboards and drawers, which you would kind of tangentially kind of know from like just being here for a long time, is where the gnome families, all of them, kind of kept the potions and scrolls and such that would be healing. They're all ramsacked. It looks like there's nothing in them anymore.
Yeah. There's no. Casey is just gonna take a good look in the canal before they move on and make sure there's nothing.
Nothing weird.
Okay. Is there a wall hold on. I need to look. Yeah, I have ink and an ink pen. Can Casey leave a note inside the temple that said the matriarch is still alive,
Where are you going?
traveling?
Where are you trying to leave that note?
Probably here near this entrance.
As you move over to that entrance and start kind of like shuffling through your invisible and not seeable bags, the door on the lower level that you know is attached to the interior of the wall, the exterior wall, opens, and out comes a trio of Denisovans. They make their way into this space. They appear to be wearing bronzish colored armor, flowing red capes. They have these strange looking kind of very it's almost as if it was like just dashed to the ground and created like blades, these blades that have these strange points and jagged marks that don't really have the kind of typical signifiers of something that was crafted like an axe or a sword. It's just these strange kind of flowing blades that they hold at their sides. And they step into this space and kind of look around curiously, kind of look across the way. They each kind of look to each other and turn and nod. Are you doing anything when they appear?
Nope.
Okay, if you are
Yeah.
actively trying to remain hidden, go ahead and make a stealth check.
+10.
Yep. They don't notice you, so they move to this space and kind of leap across, each one in turn, until they make it across, and they're all looking at this well space as they kind of come around this area, looking into it. They start exchanging words with one another, but the language they speak is foreign to you. There's kind of nods and like hand gestures as they seem to be discussing mainly this well for some reason. And they seem to be doing this for a while. It's kind of just this very long conversation and dialogue.
Okay, at a particularly loud part of the dialogue, can Casey... Which way does this door open? Does it open
opens
out or
out.
in? Can Casey try and pop a
Yeah.
peek out the door?
With the stealth check that you rolled, you'll be able to kind of look outside, and I'm going to move this back to the gate map and place you where that will be. You might be too big. It's better.
Yeah.
So yeah, it pops out to a stair that leads
Yep.
down. Do you wish to exit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You exit, slowly closing the door behind you, and kind of make your way out with, not having found the paper and quill to make your note. And again, probably harder still to write an invisible note.
Yeah. 100%. I was gonna actually try and write it on the wall, and hopefully the ink would show up as I wrote on the
Yeah,
wall.
for
Was
sure.
my hope. But they're just gonna move on across the bridge
Okay.
and
So you-
trying to hover here to see if there's anything in the courtyard.
Sure, you would pass by the gnome's main home, and your offices, are kind of present in front of you. Looking around on the ground, dead bodies, no movement, no activity kind of happening here. It does look like there is some movement inside of the estate here, which is one of the noble estates. And it does look like there's some activity inside of the office as well, but nothing outside of what you would expect from the activity inside the office. Like the smokestacks are still going, and it looks like there's, kind of people moving about.
The office has some windows. I'm gonna try and approach and see if they can get a peek inside, and see if it's Dennis Atkins or
Okay.
anything.
Peeking inside, you would notice that on the very first floor. Hold on a second here. Second. So you would kind of look in that front door, and you would see that it doesn't look like there's anyone on the first floor. Looks like it's pretty quiet and still, but it looks exactly as you left it. Everything from the earthworks crab to the papers that were kind of left the last time you saw them. Like, not much has changed.
If no one's on the first floor, then Casey will move in.
Okay. Do you wish to descend down to the basement or head upwards?
Do I hear anything upon entry?
Footfall above you. The wood floor of the space above you is kind of loud and noticeable.
Then they're gonna check the basement first.
Inside the basement, you come down to see that there is the two regular doors, but it looks like they have been locked with a strange device that appears to resemble a staff with a very strange, ornate head. And it seems that the staff is just kind of floating in space, kind of just locked against the door, like it's barring the door from opening, which you know opens in or outwards towards you, but it seems that it's kind of holding it shut, this strange bar. And that's on both doors.
I don't recognize those.
You don't recognize those. They're, very strange looking.
Is there any movement on the other side of the doors? Like, do I see shadows from footfalls or anything?
So the doors are very solid down here. There really isn't ways to kind of look through them.
Can't peek underneath.
They don't have much of a space underneath either.
And I don't hear anything.
No, not so much.
Okay. I guess still invisible, still pretty silent. Going back up and go and check level 2.
Okay, so as you come up into the main hallway, you see that yet another pair of Denisovans is kind of walking towards you as you're making your way kind of up the hall. They seem to be communicating with one another in the tongue that they've been using, but it looks like unless you go back down the stairs or find some other method of getting around them, they're going to eventually bump into you as they're walking kind of side by side.
Casey's pretty quick. Do I have enough time to quickly run past them and stand up on the chair?
Go ahead and make a acrobatics check.
20?
Yeah. So you kind of hop up onto the chair nimbly and quietly enough that they kind of move past you and start heading down the stairs. They look like they're on effort to start patrols. You would know that the second level was typically where all the scribes and scriveners would kind of stay and kind of rest up. This is kind of like the hall for it. But if they are no longer here, and they haven't been for a 6th day at least, as far as you know,
right.
As they left with the other folk, it might be the case that they take this as their barracks.
Makes sense. At least some of the forces would be here.
Yeah.
They're gonna go upstairs
All right, you know
to
the
the
way.
last level.
So you would come up to the dining hall, which is not technically the last level, and it looks like it is currently being utilized. There is a Denisovan man who's not in armor. He is, very passionately kind of cooking and going to work on cutting materials and preparing. It looks like there was some food that was kind of left behind, which you presume was probably from those two that just left. And this is where they kind of made their mess hall for their forces.
They're gonna go to the second to last level. Sorry. Up to here.
Yeah, so this floor is completely empty, but you would know this is where the meetings for the mayor and these activities would kind of take place. You would know the very last level is where you resided, and you would also know that the space that you're looking at doesn't look like it's even been really touched. Like maybe, it's very similar to the first floor. It doesn't look like much has been done to it.
Then I guess it's on to the last one.
Untouched, completely the way you left it.
Anything in the drawers? Any new notes?
Nope.
Any new entry in journals?
As you left it.
Nothing that Espen added from the last 2 days, because
Doesn't
there
appear to
should
be
no. Okay, no journal entry or anything for the last 2 days.
Yeah.
Cool. Hate that a lot. I guess then they're gonna sneak we'll keep going all the way
If
back
you're
to
going
the
back down, I'll
basement.
pull you out. Are you going?
Yeah.
Are you going to the
To the-
basement?
I'm going to the basement. Yeah.
Okay. And once there, what are you doing?
These bars. Is there anything I can do to
It appears that the heads of them have this strange button on the sides of them. Other than that, it's just like a long rod or staff.
Okay, there's no one else down here. If I take a book and try and throw it at the button, I don't want to press that fucking button, but like if I throw a book at the button, does anything happen? Don't laugh at me, Kevin.
Yeah. So, there's no one down here.
Yeah.
Unless there's someone on the other side of the doors.
That's so yeah. I'm
you
gonna
would know,
throw a book at the button. and
Having
see.
resided here, that the spaces that they currently have blocked off with these strange new bars are storage spaces. They weren't really used for much besides storage space. And so when you throw the book at the button, it hits, and then the rod or staff just falls from the sky, seemingly just hitting the ground and kind of clanging a bit.
Cool. Then they're gonna open the door.
Okay. The left door on the map or the right door on the map first?
Starting with the left door on the map.
Okay. Inside of this is Espen floating around, confused by the sound. Turns to look at you, and then when the door opens, like looking directly at you, Casey, what are you doing here?
Oh, we retrieved the book from the abyss and stopped the mountain from arising. We're back to save as many as we can. If you'd like to join me.
Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, you're invisible. I apologize. Rewind.
Okay.
What?
So door opens.
What's that? Who's
Espen.
there?
Espen, come on.
Casey.
Who else would it be?
And then we'll pick up from there.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
are you? I can't see you. I'm invisible.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Escaping if you'd like.
Sure. Sure. Where were you? Besides, I mean, the matriarch was
The
supposed to be
monastery
here.
took much longer than I think we anticipated.
Okay, well then let's return. And so if you are planning on returning with Espen back the way you came.
I want to check the other door first.
Oh, okay. So when you open it up inside, it doesn't look like anything that you can detect as being out of place is out of place. Other than it looks like the rug has shifted in the bottom right corner, and the trapdoor that was normally covered by the boxes on the right of it is a little bit more visible at this point. So whoever was in here was aware of the structure enough to know that the trapdoor leads down into a tunnel network that's actually above the dragon's tunnel network.
Is there a way for Casey to reset the bars?
Yeah, so you just press the button and they would
Yep.
lock in place.
That's what they do to make it look like nothing has changed, to try and give us as much time as possible. And then my pass without trace aura should cover Espen with
Yeah.
his floating.
So, like I was saying, the two of you
Yep,
make it
we're
back
out.
to the group.
Cool.
Folks, Casey arrives back with Espen in tow.
I think the matriarch is not here at the
Yeah,
moment.
she stepped away.
The
But the rest of you folks can do what
rest
you
of
want.
us. I guess I'm guessing I'd probably be too despondent to do much.
Did you
Except for,
fi-
you know.
Yeah.
Casey, did you find anything?
I didn't see anyone in the temple, and Espen was the only one left in the office.
Well, I can tell you what
There
happened.
were activities in other estates, but it's hard to tell what was Dennis Ottman's and who might have survived.
I can tell you what happened.
Please do.
What? Please.
We were attacked. there was 3 camps of what should happen. There were those who figured that they would throw themselves on the mercy of the invading force, which I eventually became a member of. There were those who followed Dusk in attempting to kill the invading force. Then there were those who fled. I don't know what happened to the last party, but I can tell you what happened to the second one. Put to the sword. Not a single one of them escaped. Watchman or guard or rising sun, it didn't matter. The Denisotvans did not care. When their initial attempt to gain access to the town was met with quarrel of bolt, arrow from bow, spell from caster, they started jumping over the walls with their creatures. I watched from the tower. And then fire started to rage across the entirety of the western wall. Early in the middle of the morning, I was approached by an individual in very resplendent armor who told me I had 2 options: to remain here as their prisoner until the true leader of their forces arrived, or to die. And I, to spare myself the unwanted result of dying. And they locked me in the basement. But I tell you, in sooth, it was Dusk that was the problem. He seemed unwilling to relinquish the fact that we were outnumbered and outmanned. In essence, the Denisotvan forces were thwarted slightly in the initial attempts to assail due to the traps that the priestess had put in place with the assistance of Evangeline's father, but eventually they came to understand the nature of the tricks and traps and, well, I'm sure you already saw what happened in the courtyard. We thought you had fled.
No, not quite.
What's your plan here?
That's what we've been trying to figure out, quite frankly.
Well, I can tell you that their forces are numbered here. They don't have a massive force any longer. They have split their forces up again. Some have headed north, but only a small contingent. Most have headed up the mountain to secure the abbey.
Wait, are they back with the group?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed that part.
Okay. It's Espen and Casey. Casey rescued Espen.
And what was the last thing you said?
They said that the forces that entered into the town were confronted by Dusk's forces. Dusk had taken control of the watch that had remained and kind of tried to fight back the invading force. There were 2 other contingents. There were the group that were not interested in fighting but remaining in the town, some watch, some other folk, and also the invalids, people that were present in the town still. And then there was another group, a third group of folks who retreated and headed north. So it sounds like the forces that did attack put Dusk's contingent to the sword and hung Dusk up in the town square along with the two compatriots, who Morax, if you listen to this description again, you will note that the woman that's alongside of him is none other than
Ooh.
her. The forces of the Denisovans have split into three. So there's a very small contingent that holds Gateneath, a much larger contingent that has gone up the mountain to the Abbey, and then a smaller contingent than the Abbey force, but larger than the Gateneath force that has made their way north, following after the ones who retreated.
And the ones who retreated, that's different from the initial group that we
Correct.
sent.
This
Okay.
is part of the Wash, and also the people who remained, who tried to escape the town, and kind of the last moments of it, and were seen escaping, and are being kind of routed in this regard.
Given how many remain in this town, do you think we have a chance, or is it no way in hell?
Aspen will say, I myself decided to not fight against the force once I saw their number. The force that has been left behind probably is a force that you, as a company, could work towards defeating. However, the force that went up the mountain is the main force. And from what I was told by the leader of the force, before I was put away in the basement, is that they're not the only force that is going to be making their way to Gateneath. Apparently, some over-commander was going to speak to me when they arrived here, and since I'm not there when they arrive, they may have a matter or a problem with that. Not saying that I want to be put back, Mayor. Just saying that it might pose a problem. Is there anyone else?
Evangeline is probably just not really at all sure what the hell to do right now. Like, I feel like she would almost prefer that they had burned the town down.
Yeah, this weird half measure is kind of
We still can.
it. And honestly, like Evangeline as a leader, thinking about it, like trying to kind of view it from the perspective of their forces, it's wise to see what they did. Those who stood against them, they quashed.
Yeah.
Those who didn't, they left to themselves. And those who tried to run from them, they're trying to run them down, or at least catch up with them and find out why that's the case. So it seems like the Denisovans, through and through, have been very distinguished in their efforts.
Yeah. So we have two options.
Mhm.
We reveal ourselves and wait for this leader to come and do the talking.
Or
Casey's like, that option move up.
we go north, try to catch up with the runners, and maybe try and negotiate. I don't know how well that will go.
In order to catch up to, no. How long ago did they send a company to chase the
It
people
was
retreating?
during the early morning. I can't say for certain.
So, 24 hours ago?
No, not that long ago.
This morning?
Yeah. Most of the fighting happened yesterday.
All right.
Okay. I don't know. I don't think fighting is going to get us very far.
I'm gonna have to agree. I don't think if we fight, I don't think anything good will come out of it.
Like, we're not going to help anyone here. We will most probably die. At which point we can't help anyone anyway.
So what's the plan? Espen would say.
All heads turn and look at Evangeline.
And almost as if on cue, Espen's whole body, because Ollie's kind of floating ahead, turns to look at Evangeline as well. The social cue they pick up on.
Oh my goodness. We do we surrender? Like, if you don't fight, they won't kill you, right? I mean, they left Riker alone.
To be fair, they did ask us for the book, and we didn't do that, and we're not sure how they're going to respond to that information.
Yeah.
We did stop their main competitor for whatever chronogy fuckery they were messing with.
Yeah. Or we just leave before anyone realizes that we're here.
Town is probably a lost cause at this point, isn't it? Like what?
Well, there's a
Which is-
possibility, if we say and do the right things, that the Denisattvens may allow you to continue your rule, Matriarch, underneath their what's the word? Do they have an empire? Are they an
Puppetry?
empire?
Denisattvens? No.
I think you didn't see Sardic in there.
Oh, that's a good question.
And
Wait,
no,
who's Sardic?
Sardic would not have been seen in there.
The Black Knight man.
Yeah,
Gave
no,
him a
he
clue.
said he would not be part of the
Yeah.
siege. Hmm.
We could check the stables to see if there's any horses to go riding after the people who went north.
Okay.
Okay. We'll fast track to that. Like the scene kind of just cuts to an empty stables and you all looking in it.
Okay. Well, now we
Well-
know we don't have mounts as an option to catch up to the people who went north.
And also the proprietor is not present. It just looked like there's some battle damage and some burning on the roof, but not much. Looks like it's just kind of residual from everything that was kind of caught on the western wall.
Yeah.
Is the Mage's Tower the tower still standing?
Yeah.
You want me to go check that?
I mean, I guess.
How long would I have on my hour at this point?
Probably like 20 minutes.
Casey can go quick.
Okay. If you rush over to the Lore Master's Tower, is there anything that you want to have done before you rush that way, Dahabe or Casey?
Is there anything I'm looking for? Anything you want recovered?
Is it standing? Is it?
It's standing, but I mean, is there?
Oh yeah,
anything-
yeah.
Is there anything that you want to, help him out with regarding,
Well,
Oh
like,
God,
are
is
the-
it gonna kill me if I walk in there? Are there
No, it
defenses?
shouldn't. Yeah, there are defenses, but
Oh
like,
God. Oh God.
You also would note that there's no way into the tower without the amulet. People
Okay,
can just
well-
walk into the tower.
you don't need to attune to it, right?
No.
Okay, so I can hand off the amulet
Okay.
just to make sure that the golems are still like standing,
If-
doing their duty.
You rush your way into the Lore Master's tower, make your way throughout it. What you'll notice, it does appear that every single thing in the space, if you take the time to kind of look around, is as it was. And during this course, as you're kind of moving through the tower, investigating, looking, checking out, the invisibility will wear off. But you'll come to a point where you realize that the area where Millie was is devoid of a Millie.
Because we had sent her off, right?
Well, you didn't send her off in the initial gamut. She said she'd stay and fight.
So we did leave her there.
Yep.
God damn it. Okay. So I would have said, "Can you check on Millie?"
Yeah, she's not there. And again, the way the sound kind of works in this space, you don't think that there's anybody in this tower besides you.
Noted. Casey will scurry their little way back. Report. 'Tis empty.
Oh God! Oh damn it! I wonder what's become of Millie.
Espen will say, I know. She was the main proprietor of Let's Get Out of Here. She left.
She
That
might still
answers
be
that
alive
then.
then.
On her own 2 feet?
Yeah, well, she had a cane. That bitch's been faking it.
Dahabe is definitely thinking that fucking bitch.
Bitch, because she's a Kettleborn? Come on now, she's a...
Oh God,
A
no!
bit
I don't think of
racist.
her as that. You're not like other Kennelborns.
Oh, that's loaded. That's you're one of the good ones.
Oh,
Not a good girl.
Oh,
See, it had
Oh,
it had
no.
layers. It had a lot of layers. Just saying that sentence. I really appreciated that segue there into racism. But I'm gonna move on.
thank God.
Good times. But yeah, so she, according to Espen, was the leader or one of the leaders of the people who left and just got out of there, along with the gnomes, Espen would say.
Ah. So that's where the gnomes are.
Oh yeah, they didn't stick around. Fuck that. Her leader already left. Like, what? Like, if the town is now divided into this weird, like, pseudo faction shit. Yeah, they did not stick around for that. They were not a fan of the politics.
so are we looking for like horses or something to try to catch up to the retreating group?
Horses, as we discussed, are non-existent.
Right.
Stables are cleared.
If they've got like even a 6-hour lead on us, then
Yeah, it's definitely at least that.
I don't know how we're gonna catch up to that.
Well, I mean, they have to stop at some point.
They do. We could. We are a smaller group.
So it's like either stay here and lick Denisotvan boot, or
Which is what I'm
Leave.
looking for.
Do you get a vote? You don't get a vote.
Oh shit. Okay.
God damn it, Jonathan.
Do
I-
we all?
I'd rather- I'd rather
I thought that
not.
was in character as Espen.
Some democracy.
Yeah.
no.
Is Espen voting to lick
no,
boots?
sorry. Espen's not voting to lick boots. Sorry, that was literally me.
That's what I pictured. Yeah. Okran votes not be here.
I don't see a point in staying here.
Okay. Let me go.
Heading north.
Yep.
Bear with me. As you make your way back out and around and then north, in the safest manner that you can kind of muster, you enter into the woods. You do see that there are a number of farms that are still standing. You'd also see that the kind of residences near the forest line and mountains kind of towards the north of Gatemead proper, where some of the merchants of the town took residence, are still functioning. Like, they look like they are not burning or damaged in any way. It doesn't look like much has changed, with the exception of like a couple of farms that look like they are suffering from a case of been ramsacked. That said, you definitely have no problems tailing the army, as the force did not leave, or happened to leave, like, quite a bit of tracks and easily trackable signs of their movement. You proceed northwards, and what you'll note is that it does appear that they're all heading towards Macard. And the last time you took this trip took the better part of half a day. That will be no different here. If you continue to tail the force of Denisovans, eventually you'll come to a point where the forest line dips down to a bit of a ravine. You can see down into the ravine a series of steered treetops. You see the very small village of Macard on the shoreline of the river. And you do notice that it appears to have banners flying from it that are the Denisovan flag, the marker being a flea with its feet pointed straight down. And this would be about midday when you arrive at this point. And you're still in the forest line, so you're not like rushing down to the town or being spotted or anything. So you can definitely use the obscurity of the forest to kind of maneuver if you'd like, or whatever you'd like to do at this point. You're able to see the town. It does look like it has been taken over by Denisovan forces. More of a village, really, but yeah. My point still stands.
So it looks like it's been taken over. Has it just been like sacked, or is it occupied?
No damage. It doesn't look like there's much in the way of damage, but it does look like the flags that are currently flying from all of the buildings are the Denisovan flag, which is a kind of reddish banner with a white kind of symbol of a blusa or a flea, with all of its legs kind of pointed downwards like a dagger.
Should we send somebody in to like check out what is going on at the town, or who is still around? It doesn't look like there's any dead people, right? Like they don't
No,
have
yeah,
people
so-
hanging out.
No dead people. It doesn't look like there's any
All right.
anything like that. It just looks like it's occupied by the Denisovin forces.
So people are probably not able to leave. Well, who knows? I'm not sure. Normally, I would volunteer to go check that out, but not anymore. I'm not in a good mood.
But if I see
Very
that is
bad.
not fair, I might boo myself.
Yeah.
So-
What's wrong, Mikhail? What happened?
Well, you don't want to know. Don't ask, don't tell. That is what I am doing right now.
Casey will run in and look if you want Casey to stealth in and look.
What I can simplify for you is it looks like the town is, I mean, just on an outward perspective, and I
Yeah.
can kind of look at it without having to go into it. It is very heavily occupied. It genuinely does not look like it's going to be as easy a move as Gateneath was. But what you'll notice is that the people in the town are not just Denisovans. It looks like they're just the regular town folk of Makard going about their normal business. There just happens to be a occupying force present. It doesn't look like they're putting anybody to the sword. Doesn't look like they're doing anything besides kind of acting as like a makeshift kind of town watch at the current time.
Does anyone look familiar?
Yeah, quite a few folks look like they are refugees from Gateneath. Yeah, absolutely. So it's this hard mix of Denisovin occupiers, Gateneath refugees, and the town proper. So it's bustling. There's really not much room for you to kind of sneak about, move about, with the number of people that are kind of present and moving around, going to perform tasks and doing things. But it doesn't look like this has been the way of it for very long. Like, it looks like everyone's still kind of trying to find their place. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Suppose we could go in and announce ourselves.
Yeah.
Seems safer to do it here than there.
Yeah.
I thought they were looking for us though. Like we're
Mhm.
enemy number one, and we didn't give
No.
them back their book.
We didn't take their book.
Yeah, but we were supposed to get the book for them. Didn't we promise we were going
They
to do
asked us to get the book. Yeah.
We sort of had an uneasy alliance with them that, like, oh yeah, so you guys will be kind of cool and let us go try to get the book back from her, from the
that?
abbess,
Abbas, yeah.
and it'll be cool, right?
But they
And then
must
they
have
were just
changed
like,
their mind. at
yeah,
some point.
yeah, with like their fingers crossed behind their backs, probably.
Yeah.
Then you learned about the
Yeah.
books and the book itself,
Yeah.
and then you figured out that it's probably not the best idea to pass it over, and you returned it to the library instead.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, Mikhail would be against going into town and giving ourselves up, or even just announcing who we are.
I mean, who
But-
says we have to announce who we are? Why can't we just walk into the
Oh,
town?
You could, but
Yeah.
people will
The
recognize
whole
the
army-
matriarch.
Well, our people,
Our people will, right?
their whole army wouldn't
They're
necessarily.
gonna be like, "That's the motherfucking matriarch."
right?
Get her!
Get her. I don't know. I'm just saying it sounds like a bad idea. Speaking from
I
somebody
mean,
who's,
we
who's
don't
afraid
have
of the
any
dead
good
assassin.
ideas though. So then, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
We could run so far away. North, north. That's what I'd be for. No, I think
What-
seriously though, Mikhail would be scared
Our
to even
people
go
are
into the town.
here.
Some of them, yeah, that's true. It might not be bad to have at least somebody go in and talk to him. Somebody who's not so conspicuous. But if you look at every one of us is pretty conspicuous. You know what I mean? You can't send the robot in. You can't send Dabe in. You can't
Why
send.
not?
You can't
Dabe
send
looks pretty cool.
Morax in because he's like a big tall dragonborn. You know what I mean? It's like and you can't send the matriarch in because people would. I think people, and then you can't send like a rat in. Actually, the rat might be the one who would be
What's
the least.
what's
recognized.
inconspicuous about Dahabe?
Well, no, you're like the lore keeper, right? Like I think people would know you. Like people
Oh.
that they might say something even on accident. Like they may not do it on
But-
purpose. But
Well, like we are literally the town council.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I just think it's bad.
So I
idea if
guess
we go in there.
Ogren is like the least recognizable among us.
I mean, I would think so.
That is true. That's true.
and I don't know if he wants to go in either, though.
But to,
They murdered his village, right? Or town.
I mean, what's left of my village should have been here.
well, he's not.
yeah,
go-
that's true. That's
Wait,
true.
what?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
the refugees.
Yeah, they might
Like
have made
14
it
of them.
there,
Well, I mean, he's not gonna go in and be like, "Hey, y'all murdered my village."
yeah.
He's not
Whirlwind.
Inigo Montoya, okay?
Yeah.
You killed my father. Prepare to
If only I was
Okay.
Next character.
yeah,
next character.
right. I'm just saying, there might be some.
I mean, I
flaws
think
with
it
that
would
plan.
be like a political mistake to just be like, "Oh, look, the town council is coming in. Let's
Yeah.
just like execute them all right now." Right?
yeah,
if the
they-
Denisovans are coming to like be an occupying force,
Right.
they're not necessarily. I mean,
As a DM, what a twist, huh? Wouldn't
Yeah,
that be crazy?
But if they
well,
were
I
gonna
mean,
kill,
All the shit that we pulled.
Get out of here.
yeah, if
Get out of here.
if
that's
they would,
okay. If that's our
Yeah.
destiny, then that's our destiny. I'm
they'd
okay
at
with-
least throw us in prison at
with
the
accepting
minimum.
that.
At the worst, they'd string us all up or behead us or something
yeah,
crazy.
sure. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. You also have to remember my character is scared of the Dennis.
Oh,
Sapling,
you're
so there's nowhere in hell I'm
scared.
going in that.
He's
that-
mechanically
They
frightened
Yeah.
of them.
They murdered
I-
his whole family, and he's now
Yeah.
mechanically
I
Did
afraid
he,
of them.
did he tell us that?
No, you guys. I mean, you could tell by what I'm saying now, but like,
You could
yeah,
tell he was fucked
maybe.
up, but
I was
like,
messed up for sure. Yeah, I was despondent.
Mikhail, it sounds like you were overcome with some kind of unshakable fear.
I don't laugh. That's me, the
Maybe you
player, laughing.
should take a break,
Yeah.
sit down, and the rest of us will go in.
And just to be sure, like when it comes to the mechanical side of it, it only comes up during combat. So if you enter
Okay.
an engagement with the Denisov, then the frightened condition will be placed on you. But like
Okay.
normally, you can
But just I could talk to one.
you're role playing it perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely are frightened of them. You don't want to engage with them. You're scared of them, and you'll probably act that way if you were in a conversation with them. But
Yeah, I think I would probably then in this case, like people are talking to me, I'd probably grab Dabe aside and be like, Dabe, and you like would see that I like kind of like lost my control of my body. You know what I mean? Like my
whoa,
mind is not right. No, but I'd be with Dabe.
This is
just
taking
just
a turn.
Dabe. Yeah.
you
No.
lost control of
Not
your
like going to bathroom.
sorry,
or anything like that.
Dahabe. I
Wait a
need
minute, wait a
you.
minute.
But I mean, I mean, you
just
could tell like
ravage
that.
her.
You could
Lost
tell.
control.
God, you guys are bad. I can't even say anything. All right.
That's
What I would
fine.
what I would say to you is I'd say you cannot go into that town. They'll kill all of you. They killed my family. Don't do it. It's a mistake.
They killed every love interest that this poor 17-year-old had.
That's right. You have no reason to go in there. That's what I would say to Dabe. And I think
Her
Dabe
young adult
might be able
novel
to tell
is garbage.
kind of that my mind is not really, you know what I mean? I'm kind of like not really all there.
Yeah, it's like
sad
it
shape.
sounds like you've had a really traumatic experience.
But we're still doing it.
But we're still doing it. Okay.
We have to do what we have
Alright.
to do. We have a.
I'm
a
sorry for your
duty
loss.
As,
we got-
as leadership, of
Thoughts
this
and
town.
prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
Oh,
And
Man
we're
up.
also
not thoughts and
beholden.
prayers, God
We're
damn
also
it.
beholden to the dictates of the matriarch.
Wait, is she gonna? Is the matriarch going to force me to go into the town with you guys, or can I wait? here for-
Nobody's said that.
Okay, that's what you made it
Mikhail.
sound like. That we are the council and we need to go in there and do that. I think it's suicide.
I agree with Mikhail. I think
Oh God.
we've pulled enough shit with them
We
that
pulled enough shit.
we pulled enough. Frankly, we've pulled enough shit with them that I think if we were to show our faces out in public with like show our
Well, I
faces to
suppose we
them,
did kill that whole like scouting party, huh?
Yeah.
yeah, then they would just be like, "Oh hey, it's those little bitches. Let's kill
Those
them."
little things.
I
love
If
that.
I was the sheriff of the Denisovan force, I'd have a wanted poster for me and a heartbeat.
Absolutely. They'd say, "Hey, you got the book? And if you don't pull the book out of your back pocket within 2 seconds, you're gonna be a pincushion.
And you know they're good with arrows.
Yeah, I just think it's too late to go to him and try to like talk nice now. I mean, maybe like at a distance, send him a letter or something. I don't know, but to
I
go in
think-
there,
To who it may
Un-
concern.
yeah, to make it
Until
turn. Sorry, we
have
lost your book.
the ability to show some kind of force again, we've got no upper hand until we have some kind of upper hand. We've
but-
got no,
The upper hand that you're seeking is the book.
and it's
Wait. So we're never gonna have the upper hand.
No.
Like they have a fucking army. We're like a little rinky-dink town. Like there's no.
Well, you could go out in a blaze of glory, and you could just fight them all. Give it the old Johnny Silverhand.
And be martyrs. I mean, if the matriarch commands me to be a martyr, I'll be a motherfucking martyr.
If you want 3 sessions to be shortened very quickly down to 1, that'd be the way to do it.
But we don't have to walk in guns
Yes.
blazing.
There's a more meaningful potential ending here. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that our people are okay. Like, as many of them as we can.
Okay. So, Casey,
Hmm.
you're wanting to enter the town, or no? You're not going in, right?
Nah.
Okay. Do you folks want to send Okrin into the town?
Wait. So, I mean, we matriarch, you don't want to go in together?
I mean, the matriarch wants to go into the town.
Okay. Dahabe would go with her.
Okay. So you're going in. Are you using any means of subterfuge or stealth?
No.
Okay.
I'm just walking in passively.
Okay, who is anyone escorting us? Because matriarch, you're giving them the option, right, to stay behind or to come with us.
Yes.
Okay, is anyone escorting us?
Okay.
I suppose I could.
No, like,
Let me check
she
my
would.
calendar real quick.
Yeah, I'm
She
pretty
would-
busy. I got some
She would have been
commitments.
very clear that this was not going to be a I'm the ruler, I'm making the
Yes.
decision. This is very much you make your choice that is best for you situation. But she wants to go in there and make sure that her family is okay, that her people are okay, and that she could somehow negotiate their safety, whatever that looks like.
Okay, so Mikhail's out.
Yes, please.
Casey's out.
Casey will make themselves available to you. If you'd like Casey to accompany you to speak with the Dennis Otvins, if you think that what they say will benefit the cause, they are happy to help. But if you want us to do what's in our best interests,
Yeah.
Espen and I are going to try and find a place in this town where we can establish ourselves and
That's perfect.
start reorganizing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, she would definitely support that and encourage that.
Is that a good term, John?
Yeah.
Reorganizing.
Yeah, I like it. Okrin. Making
You
pudding.
muted.
Must be making pudding. Pudding boy.
Hello.
Yeah, there you go.
I was muted 2 ways.
Wow.
I guess, yeah, I know, right? I guess you'd be interested to speak to maybe Sardik, if anything. But if that wasn't on the table, you probably wouldn't be interested. Maybe go with Casey and see how the rest of the people from Onwick are doing.
Seems like Morax, Evangeline, and Dahabe are going in. Mikhail staying out, and Casey and Okrin are going in, but not to be caught. Is that right? To try and kind of figure out what they're going to do if this is the last place they kind of stay at, right?
Just reintegrate into society in a less obvious way, if
Makes
that
sense.
makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay. So, Evangeline, Dahave, Morax, the three of you, very recognizable individuals, make your way into the town. As you kind of make your way to the town square, for lack of a better term, it's not much of a town, it's more of a village. You would note that some of the Denisovan forces are kind of looking to you and like slowly putting their helmets on and kind of looking at you a bit more concerned as you're strangers. Eventually, it does seem that notice is had by an individual in a larger kind of structure, what looks like a longhouse or like a meeting hall of the town nobility or function. But out of this space comes an individual who very much strikes you as a Denisovan individual. She is about 7'7". Her arms are like down to her knees. She has on very bright red colors. Her frame just seems to have a certain level of just dominance. But she very much strikes you as a Denisovan witch of some sort. All about her body, she has parts of her skin that have been kind of broken open and replaced with scale, dragon scale. And her eyes have kind of this reddish burning around the sides of her eyes. She carries a very simple longsword at her side, and her robes are, very informal, very simple. Her hair appears to have all been shaved, with the exception of a ponytail on the top of her head, which seems to be held together with these bronze rings, and the hair kind of descends down her back. Looks like there's dragon teeth or fangs kind of hanging from her ears as earrings. Her arms are covered in this strange black armor, but again have the length of Denisovan's arms, and she appears to wear just simple kind of black attire on her legs as well. She steps out. She seems to be flanked by a number of Denisovan warriors, like the ones you've seen before, and she looks to you. The matriarch of Gateneath, she says directly to Evangeline.
Yes.
Welcome to Makar.
Thank you.
What brings you here?
I've come to check on the welfare of my people.
Morax, you very quickly realize that you're being surrounded in the town square. It does look like a number of the soldiery of the Denisovans have moved from different places and kind of assembled around you to kind of completely surround you. Not directly
How
surrounding
many?
you. 15? Not counting the 2 that came with her on her flank. She says... But what did you say? I'm sorry.
I came to check on the welfare of my people.
If you mean the people who escaped last night, they are fine. If you mean the folks who had arrived here days ago, they have moved on. None of them were found out by our forces.
Okay.
It is widely believed by my company that they have moved north to Arard.
Okay.
I was instructed by my master to ask you one question. If you are found, dependent on your answer to this question, to treat you one way or the other. Do you have the Book of Cardiff?
I do not.
At this point, I was instructed to put you to the sword. I am not going to do so. I am going to ask you why.
Why she doesn't have the book? It was lost it was not lost, but it was returned in the battle with the abbess.
Where?
To the library.
Which library? And if you do follow through, she's going to ask you very precise questions to ask you exactly where it is. If you divulge the location of the library, that's one pass of this question. The other pass of this question is to not answer directly. So you can determine how you want to answer without having to answer in detail.
I feel like
Obviously,
she indirectly, mostly because I personally don't know where the fuck it is.
well, fair enough, but your character would know. And
Yeah.
so, what I'm
I
saying
would
is
be like indirectly and just
kind of listing out the details of the library specific. Is that right?
yeah.
Not so much like, I don't know the name of it, but this is where it was kind of situation.
Yeah, like it was like in the mountains or something like that, and then like
Okay.
I don't recall the specific path, but
During the course of her starting to begin this process, do Morax or Dabe stop her from divulging the location? Okay. The lady who stands opposed to you, after you kind of state this information, nods her head, takes kind of a quick read of you, and says, I do not distrust the words that you have stated. My commander specifically told me that if you were unable to grant me the book, that I was to put you to the sword. I will not do this thing. It is not our place to kill those who are not directly involved in our squabbles of ancient old. I will tell you that your people have most likely made it to the town of Arard. We will not chase them, now that we know the book is not among them. If it does wind up being the case, the book is not where you said it was. I assure you. If they, family, are still in Arard, they will see us again.
yeah, she would just reiterate that the book was sent to the library. That is what I know.
We will check there to ensure that that is the case. And if we are able to recover it, then so much the better. If we are not, we will seek you out. My presumption is that you will be making your way north.
Yes.
She looks around the circle, and as Morax is kind of looking around, like hand on his sword, she says, You will have no hostility from us. None of my forces will molest you on your trip north.
Thank you.
They all kind of look at one another, then start slowly backing away to where they kind of sprung up from. And she will turn about and head back into the longhouse, leaving you in the courtyard pretty much alone with your two companions.
Ready to shit my fucking pants.
Could have gone a different couple of ways.
Yeah. Okay. So now that that's dealt with, she'd want to try and see if they could find Millie, and and whoever else ran away, and just touch base with them and just let them know that we can continue north if you choose, or you can stay here. Just do not be a nuisance and they will leave you be. Type of thing.
Okay. So I just want to kind of catch the vibe of the room, because I think I understand where Zach's kind of falling. I just want to make sure I understand it precisely. Is it the case that Casey is no longer going to follow Evangeline and is going to try and make a way of it here in the card? Is that accurate, Zach?
Yeah.
Okay. And Okrin, is that kind of the same vein that Okrin's falling into at this point as well, or no?
John, you're muted.
Making pudding. John,
Yeah.
Okay.
answer my question. I asked you a question. Did you hear my question?
Say it one more time.
So, Casey is of the mind that they're going to try and make a life for themselves here in Macard, and not continue to follow Evangeline. Do I understand it correctly that that would be the case for Okrin?
Honestly, yeah,
Okay.
because
That makes sense.
he didn't have much in it, to be honest, in the first place. It was just kind of a like
The Denisovans that are present here do seem to, in kind of the first few hours or possibly days of your stay here, aren't terribly uncomfortable. They do not try to do anything outside of just maintaining the peace. And the people who are present here, you recognize some of them from Gate Neath. You recognize some of them from as far south as Almwick. It does seem to be the case that this is where a lot of the refugees have ended up, and they've taken to farming, mining, and fishing here in the Macard Valley. Mikhail, obviously this is a tenser question for you, as staying amongst a town filled with Denisovans is probably not your go-to in your current condition. When Evangeline, Dahave, and Moirax start to leave the town, do you regroup with them, or do you try to just fall away into the shadows of the forest and find your own way and your own path?
That is a good question. I think I would leave a note and say that I was sorry that I couldn't continue on in my position as magistrate, and that I resigned, and that I wish them well. And then I'd probably head out to try to get to a city or something where I could maybe find an actual job.
Yeah, Moirax.
I mean, at a small town where they're fishing and mining and all that stuff,
yeah, what are you gonna do
I
there?
probably wouldn't be all that great. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
especially
probably-
with no sources of alcohol. So yeah, that makes
Right,
sense.
right. With no sources of alcohol, right. I'd probably try to find a job at a winery or something somewhere, or a distillery.
Yeah, that makes sense. So a note would be left with Casey, and so when Evangeline comes to see if Casey and Okrin are wanting to accompany you to Erard, it does seem to be the case that they have kind of decided that they're not going to be accompanying you in that direction. You can have that discussion though. I'll allow that.
So Evangeline would just approach and just essentially tell them that that the Denisotvans will allow us to go north unhindered. They will not bother the people here, any of our people. If you would like to go north to reconnect, the majority of our people are on their way to Erard if they're not already there.
What say you, Casey? Zach?
What says Espen?
Espen defers to Casey. Espen is of a mind where
Yeah.
it doesn't seem to
Yeah.
matter what town they end up in. Just-
And that's kind of how Casey feels. I guess if most of our people have gone up to Almac
or
Erard.
or Erard, sorry. Erard, yeah, then that's I think where Casey would go. I mean, it's not like they've laid down roots. Like we're not.
We've been
not
here for
sold
like
on
an hour.
Yeah, like I'm not sold on that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Go ahead.
Oak can kind of be the same way.
Okay.
Like if everybody's moving north, he'd go as well with the rest of the people from All in One.
In case you would have received a note from Mikhail, and you'd be able to pass that to Evangeline. And so, what I'll say is as you kind of group up together and then head to Erard, Mikhail, your travels to make it to a city would lead you to Erard anyways. So even though you did separate from them, it does come to be a bit of misfortune for you as you arrive at Erard and the people you just tried to ditch
Awkward.
It's like, oh no, it's the council.
show
Like,
up in Erard.
How the
Oh,
hell?
Mikhail.
Cringe.
What
I
you-
do not accept your resignation.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Now I have to keep working.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
kidding.
What you would learn quickly about Erard, it is a very small forest town. It focuses on the mining of minerals in the region, but it also focuses on cultivation of a very special kind of wood known as dark wood that is present in this depth of the forest. And you would know kind of why that's the case. The Fey line that kind of maneuvers through here is probably responsible for kind of bleeding over the ancient one wood into this blaze. You'd also learn that Erard is filled with the original refugees, the ones that escaped by your accompaniment. This would mean that all of the gnomes, all of the fucking gnomes, so every single goddamn fucking gnome sired out of her damn loins. It's here.
Summer's 12,000 children.
All of the summer child, all the summer children. Oh, you summer child.
You summer childs is.
They are
Jeez.
Is it like it's Summer's child?
summer's child. They're all
Or
present.
Summer's children.
You would also note that the town is
No,
now
that's not weird.
currently under the leadership of an individual who everyone seems to name as Roman. Or,
Yeah, that's his name.
and it seems that the old leadership was usurped by Roman. Like he took over the entire town.
What?
If you seek him out,
Go, Daddy!
he would allow you to treat with him, and he would say, you know, he'd be in his hall present, and you'd kind of enter into the space. He would not change his demeanor, even though the town is not very large. He was very kind of simple and sitting in his chair of rulership. And as you move to address him, he says, "What of Gateneath?"
It still stands.
What of the Denisovans?
They've agreed to let us be.
Erard is yours. I will not hold it. He stands up from the seat and kind of steps to the side and gestures towards the chair offering it. I do not require it. I plan on returning to Gatemead now that you are safe and are with your family. And I will determine whether or not the monastery is salvageable.
Evangeline would actually just walk up to him and hug him.
There's kind of this like exasperated kind of release of air from him, kind of this like as you kind of take him in your arms, he kind of reaches around, kind of gives you a soft hug, and he says, "Your kin have missed you. I know that it's probably the case that the abbess is dead or in some form of demise, and they're probably all not as I left them. But I swore an oath. And I must honor that oath. Even if it means the death of me.
I understand.
It's not much. He gestures towards the town. It really isn't. The individuals who were running it before were nothing more than bandits.
Well, I guess we'll see what we can do with it.
He'll kind of wordlessly after that take his leave of the main hall, which is the first time you've ever entered into this space. You're now taking control of it. There are a couple of attendants. Some of them you recognize. Some of them are members of the house staff from before. Others you don't. Seem to be new faces that are probably locals of Arard. Yeah, I'll be honest. Going into Gateneath was genuinely not an option I perceived as one that we were going to go about. It's definitely the easier of the chains. I'm gonna kind of drop the veil a bit here. I genuinely thought there were two kind of main options, and one was going into the library. That didn't happen. That was like the one that I thought was probably, based on what you were saying last session, was the one I kind of focused on the most. So again, going into Gateneath to see what was happening was not anywhere on my radar, but I mean, I kind of had plans for it. And then just walking through the Denizophan forces and not like being problematic
Murder hobos?
was also not something I'd planned for. So I'm going to be completely honest. Like,
Welcome to your Tuesday crew.
that's all I've got for you. Like, I genuinely.
Wait.
Okay,
Millie.
yeah. Millie was back
Millie.
in the card. Sorry. So that.
We
Okay.
could have brought her with us, though, right?
Absolutely. So I had mentioned kind of briefly, and I should.
And I think Okran's people came with us
Correct.
too.
So
I
the
think.
refugees
Okay.
from the night before
Yeah.
were the ones that arrived there at that time. So that would have been Okran's people, some of the town watch, and
Who in the
Gnomes.
town watch is left?
It's like 4 or 5 individuals. It's not much.
Any
It's-
of the lieutenants?
No.
Hmm.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems that the lieutenants took to Dusk quite well because there was a presumed trust between Morax and Dusk. Oh, sorry, wait,
Makes
hold on.
sense.
There's one.
Millie. How the fuck is Millie still alive?
There's one lieutenant. That's,
Crusty old bitch.
Rook is still alive. Sorry.
Oh, nice.
He lived because
I would have cried,
he would have been the one that actually took
Millie.
Millie out.
Like,
the only
come
one.
on.
He's the only one of the lieutenants who actually had access to the tower, or was given access to the tower
That's true.
at any point. Yeah, he was a part of the secret community of I
Yeah.
can get into the tower. whenever.
Elderberries.
Yeah, elderberries was something he was a part of. But yeah, genuinely, like I mean, 15 minutes prior to like closing time, like I genuinely expected there to be,
A fight.
well, not only that, but also like the library was also another, like, because it sounded like that's what you were focused on last
We were
session.
thinking about it,
And
I
that's
think.
literally why I said, well, then I think I got about 3 more sessions for you, because there was, I'll explain off screen what I had planned for that side of it. But yeah, genuinely, I don't think I have anything else. Like,
That's cool.
this was a terminus point that was expected a bit later. Yeah, no fighting. That was great at the end, you guys not jumping into murder, death.
Which is so good.
Learned. So yeah.
That's
I mean,
literally what
I
it was,
could've-
though.
I could have spent a
Walker was definitely
fucking,
tempted.
yeah, I could have spent another
Yeah.
fucking inspiration die and caused an avalanche of violence.
that would have been great. But also strange. Like, I
Nice.
would have definitely had to drop the battle map. So I will say, like, for the last 15 minutes that we can work on narratively here, it sounds like Mikhail is going to leave the company and make his way north towards Penford. Is that a fair assessment, Kevin?
Yeah, I think so. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It just seems like that fit with his character. Maybe he needs to get some therapy, but I don't know if they have it in this fantasy world.
Sure. So
He needs to get some therapy.
what I'll say is, Mikhail having connections of the variety that he does, he would know that there are several bandit groups in this area, and Erard was ruled by one. But there are also some more pleasant smuggling companies that are kind of on the white shores near the Broken Bridge. So he's able to link up with those smugglers and get passage on a small craft up past the pirate's lair to the north and onto the northernmost section of the region, specifically in the Lavidia region and the city of Penford.
Nice.
In about the,
Lavidia sounds like wine country.
Yeah, it
kind-
does sound
it
good.
kind of is.
Perfect.
Its fields are currently being ruled over by the Ionian riders, so there's not a lot of like opportunity in the fields of Lavidia. But yeah, the city of Penford is quite majestic compared to a lot of the places you've been. And you've probably been there before, in all honesty, in your travels. You're a venerable individual.
Right.
Morax.
And-
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
Did you have-
I was saying venerable is good, right?
Yeah,
I
not bad.
just got to make sure we're sending the right message out there.
You're
to
old and
the
respected.
fans.
So, Morax, with the shadows of your past now cleanly deceased and hung up from ropes, and this is known to you, understanding that there is no kind of recourse into that kind of old, youthful spontaneity or banditry, and now kind of placed here alongside with the matriarch you've served diligently for the last however many years, what would Morax's position be? Would service continue, or would he move on from this?
I think he would decide that where is this cable gone? There it is. I thought it was wrapped around my arm. He would decide that like Gateneath, well, it's there physically, it's really not the what remains of the town is just a skeleton.
Yeah.
And everything else that he had that he would live for is gone. So he would decide to make it his he would stick to his duty and protect at least what remains of the town.
The matriarch serving as her personal guard, and
Like he's assigned a number of personal bodyguards to her, and those have gone various ways.
forget all of the middlemen.
So you know
Hmm.
what? It's about
Hmm.
time. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah,
sure.
I think Okran is the only one who hasn't been. No, he almost got killed too.
I thought it was bad mouthing Okran
no. Every
in the
time he is
distance with
trying
his
to
hand on his hips, just
Yeah.
looking at Morax.
So Rook got fireballed and
Yeah.
had to be revived. And there was a second one and he died, right?
Yeah.
And then you, and I think you almost died.
Yeah. Casey and Okran kind of made their idea of where they're kind of finishing very clearly known in Macard. And the opportunities here in Erard are not very far removed. There's some mining to the west. There's the, regular forestry, and then Darkwood acquisition as well. But is there anything that you want to interject, Okran, regarding like the kind of aftermath here? Are you just entering into the service of the town as you kind of expected to, or is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, it's mostly service of the town, and then trying to find a way to pass on lineage.
And
Oh my
that was
god.
Is that
kind of his
Settle
thing.
down and have
is
little
that,
baby
like-
rats.
a long way of saying getting a girlfriend?
Yes.
Well, so his family has this artifact that he never told anybody about. So he kind of like does the rage thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
Way to explain it.
it's a family heirloom. It's of the pack. But yeah, it's not unlikely that in kind of setting up here that you're able to kind of learn of wandering tribes of rat folk in the region. Again, we discussed that the rat folk are
Right.
quite numerous in this area. And so that's not unlikely that you'd be able to find a mate and become betrothed.
Okay, but what does she look like? Is she adorable?
I'm not
Is she-
focusing
is
in
she
Of
brown?
course.
Yeah,
Is she-
No.
adorable. But
Okay.
Adorable, at least.
Casey, Espen is fine with this position, but very much of the idea that it's like picking up like from a book that was full to the brim with words, and now having to take the notes of a new town from a beginning that was not well recorded before your placement here. So for them, it's like
I imagine they would probably work to gather a crew of the townspeople who are willing to go back into Dennis Otvin territory and see if we can reintegrate into Gate Neath.
okay. At a later point,
Because I imagine there's like a few weeks, few months down the road, like spend some time like reestablishing, gathering some extra like supplies here, and then like retrekking back to Gate Neath to see if the Dennis Otvin, because like we didn't leave enough population there to like
Yeah.
keep that town running. So I imagine like they won't do much in a few weeks time. Like 3 weeks is what I'm thinking. We like stay here, relax, like gather supplies, and then like head back if there's any people in town who would like to return to their estates as they were.
that's
Not anyone, but like I imagine there's some people who would like to return, right?
That's an interesting chain. I do want to approach that last.
Okay.
So it definitely changes something in my mind narratively, and I'll
'Cause-
touch it last.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm not trying to make assumptions here, but based on presence so far, Dahabe has proven a diligent servant of the matriarch. But again, there is no longer anything binding you here, well, except that when you bring Millie up, she's still here and she says, "Oh, this place is nice." But it's entirely up to you whether or not
Fucking hate
Dahabe-
her.
Just
So-
in the middle of the night, you go to her bed and you grab one of the very fluffy pillows and you just place it over her face. You're not supposed to be alive. You should have died like 3 times. Why didn't John narratively write you off?
She survives on her YA romances.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean Dahabe is she agrees to remain as advisor to the matriarch if she will agree to it. You know, Dahabe feels a lot of responsibility for the way that things have gone down, and she feels very devoted to the caretaking of the matriarch's populace and to the matriarch's purpose. So she will stick around.
And for the matriarch, you are taking Erard as your own and trying to lead as you did in Gate Neath. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, with a little less fighting and bloodshed.
So we'll go ahead and fast track to a time some 2 months in the future. The matriarch sits on her throne of brambles, the throne of Erard, flanked by her left hand, Dahabe, the Lord Keeper, who is associated by Espen, the scribe of the town, who has diligently made the lore accessible. Morax at her right as her defender and protector, and not master of the town watch by any stretch of the imagination, as that role has fallen to the large grouping of Bradfolk who have sworn themselves to the banner of Erard, the tribes coming together to muster around this new home or den for their peoples, replacing the banditry that was removed by Roman before he left. The only other person who's not currently present is Mikhail, who has ended up in Penford and has taken to drink. He has used a lot of the goodwill of his family name to assist him in rising in station and status in Penford. But it does seem like he's on the cusp of falling in one of three ways. Either retreating from this place, just traveling away, just not sure about it, falling deeper into the cup, or maybe picking back up in his older professions. Last but not least, Casey, you make it back to Gateneath after some time. Espen does not seek to return back with you, but understands your desire to do so.
Oh, if Espen doesn't want to return to Gateneath.
No.
Oh,
Espen,
I misunderstood
sorry,
then.
Espen is thrilled by the idea of starting from scratch.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
If that changes your idea,
I misunderstood
That
too.
does change my
I
idea. Yeah,
apologize. I
I
apologize.
completely misunderstood.
I meant to say that Espen is thrilled of the idea of starting from scratch because a lot of the
He needs
older
to write
records,
a new story.
a lot of Espen's older records, you would note that they were trying to like acclimate them to their style. So it wasn't their notes; it was the Magier's notes. It was someone else's notes. So they have very much been working towards the Scrivener's kind of like everything
Got
being
it.
theirs.
Then yeah, I don't think Casey would push back to Gateneath. They would support if people wanted to go back, but like
Yeah,
they're fine.
not too many. And sorry for that misassumption or that assumption there. That's why I was surprised when you said it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, this could be interesting. But we're not going to go that route. Perfectly fine. So Casey, you retain a kind of position as a mediator, but also as a vizier to Evangeline, working amongst the people and now these new tribes who are entering into the town. And Erard starts to flourish. And not once do the forces of the Denisovans move past the Macard Valley. And that is where we'll end not only the session, but the game. Thank you for those who watched, and thank you folks for being a chaotic force of strangeness, even until the end.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thanks for watching. We'll end Resistance Threshold here. Thank you.